Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I am Jordan. Today we are going to look at a whiskey that I've already kind of discussed a little bit. I think it was March or April. My wife and we went to Deadwood, and we went to, I think it was Saloon 10, maybe. I don't remember what it was, but it was a big whiskey bar. They had like 200 whiskeys available, and we got a chance to try the William LaRue Weller 2022 and the Elmer T. Lee. Now, since then, the William LaRue Weller was at barrel proof. I think it was 128 or 29, something like that. It was a little bit high proof for my wife. It was excellent with just a drop of water in it. But my wife really enjoyed Elmer T. Lee. Now, I know, be growing and mowing and whatever else. I found out that locally there is a store that they had this year, so it is July 14th, 2023 right now. And so far this year they've had two releases of Stag, formerly Stag Junior, come through the shop. They've had E.H. Taylor, which I bought one of my E.H. Taylors through there for like 30. Well, I can tell you how much I paid. $37.59. I was talking to the manager and I was like, man, first off, I was kind of like seeing if she could get any bottles from my hit list in for me. And because it is Wyoming, I'm limited as to what we can actually get into the state, let alone into a store. But she did order, I think, Ben Holiday for me and one other one. So I'm looking forward to that coming in, but it might be a month or two. But we were also talking about what all she had, and she mentioned that she had Stag like literally a week ago. Um, I guess I just need to go into the store more often because, of course, they don't hold it, they don't do whatever. But she did say that they had Elmer T. Lee, and I said, "Oh, I'd be interested in that." But beforehand, I asked her, I said, "So what are you selling your Stag for? Like $70?" Now, this is the store that I always get the best prices on here locally. And she goes, "No, way below that." Now, I don't know what that means, but MSRP is like 60, 70, $80, something like that on Stag. So if you're not getting raked over the coals and bent over backwards, you should only be paying that much for it. Now, I did see a bottle when we were in Gardner, Montana last September for $250. But I also saw, that E.H. Taylor, just the regular small batch going for $140. I paid $37. Um, but so somewhere under $70, so 50 or $60, I gotta imagine is what they're selling that Stag for. So I'm gonna keep going in and seeing if I can get my hands on a bottle of that with the next release. Although I don't know when that's gonna be. I think it's probably gonna be like September, October. I might be hunting and whatever else, and they only get a case, and a case is only 6 bottles, so it goes pretty quick. But I'm also going to find out if she can order, or at least put on order, the E.H. Taylor single barrel and the single barrel proof, because those are supposed to be phenomenal, and I already love the E.H. Taylor, so I would love to see what that brings to the table. So, just a quick little side note there about all that's going on, but you're going to be very, very jealous what I found the Elmer T. Lee for. Like I said, go back, watch my video. I'm just talking about it because I didn't have a bottle, I didn't have any pictures, and I didn't have any video of us actually tasting it while we were in South Dakota. But I kind of run down through our experience. But I bought this bottle here locally for $28.79. Stupidly good price. I mean, I had on my hit list, I was like, if it's under $40, I'll buy it somewhere. Thinking that it would be almost impossible to find for under $40 because most of the time I see it, if I have not seen it, but most of the time I've heard or I've seen it online for well over 100, all the way up to $300. And this, keep in mind, is not like a high tier Buffalo Trace product. This is a low shelf, easy drinking. If you go back to 2013, 2014, 2015, you would find this for 40, 50, maybe $60 all day long by the case sitting around in most liquor stores. This was not a high tier product. But when all the Pappy stuff started coming out and all the Weller and whatever else. Like Pappy came out, there was a big stink about that, and then there was also a bourbon shortage, and then bourbon in general was just kind of becoming vogue amongst drinkers, and there was this huge boom in craft distilleries and bourbon in general. And when all of that was going on, Buffalo Trace products, especially, I got like a fuzz in my nose, so sorry. Buffalo Trace products, because a lot of them were allocated, became very, very difficult to get your hands on, and only found in certain places at certain times. And then we all know the story about the distributors and kind of the role that that had in it. But now, thankfully, Buffalo Trace has changed distributors as of, I think, January 1 of 2023. But sometime early on in January, or sorry, not in January, but sometime early on in 2023, they changed distiller or distributors. So hopefully products are a little bit more available. Um, and so with all of that, like most Buffalo Trace products used to sit on shelves everywhere because, in honesty, they're okay. Most of them are not mind-blowingly great. For some reason, the marketing on them blew up. The word kind of got out about them. They've kind of become these coveted, hard to find things. And I'll admit, they're on my list. The E.H. Taylor, love it. But as far as like regular Buffalo Trace goes, there's 200 bottles I would choose before picking up a bottle of that. It's not bad. It's just not that great. It's just run of the mill bourbon. Um, I love my E.H. Taylor, but the Pappy, the entire Pappy, the 15, the 20, the 23, I wouldn't give you 10 cents for those. I don't like any of them. Um, the Weller lineup, I don't remember which one it was. I can tell you here real quick. But the only Weller lineup that I really enjoyed was the Weller Full Proof. And I had that in 2020 or 2021. But the single barrel I was unimpressed with. The CYPB I was unimpressed with. The Weller 12 I was unimpressed with. They just all had this very bitter tannic finish on it. And as everybody knows, the Weller is what the Weller barrels are what they're choosing to get the Pappy. So if it doesn't make the Pappy cut, it becomes Weller. Okay. So, it's just, I don't know. Marketing and hype and rarity, I guess, is what makes everything crazy. And because you got more people interested in something now, the prices have become outrageous and people are willing to pay that. So I'm not. So I was floored when I was able to get my hands on this because the manager was like, yeah, I got one in back for you. I got a case. But if you want one, I'd be happy to sell it. And I'm like, oh, sure. I didn't even ask the price. She brought it up front. I was thinking 40, 50 bucks. She, guns it up and cues it, and she goes $28.79, and I just about hit the floor. I was like, yeah, definitely. Now, here's the bottom of this. This is a $28 whiskey. Maybe if I bought this and I paid $45 for it, would I be happy with it? Definitely. It's good enough to fit that category. If I paid $80 for it, I'd be severely disappointed because it's not overly amazing. It is good, solid bourbon, very caramely, but it's not mind blowing. It's a good middle to lower tier bourbon. I would say some of the benchmarks you can get, like the full proof or top shelf, are probably better than this. But the rarity of it, awesome. The price, I loved it. I basically picked it up for the price of a benchmark. So, Elmer T. Lee, single barrel sour mash, 45% ABV, so 90 proof. And again, my wife liked it when we were in South Dakota, so she and I kind of got to have a little taste of it, a little dram the other night. But you know what? As far as Buffalo Trace products go, again, like they're good, they're just not outstanding, and it's amazing the amount of fervor that has been in the bourbon market about Buffalo Trace products. And honestly, I think if people are being honest with themselves, they would be very disappointed in the fact that they're paying the prices they're paying for a lot of the stuff that they're getting. Um, I think it's almost one of those buyer's remorse situations where people have paid so much money for something that they force themselves to think that it's a lot better than it is. Um, If you are in the line looking for Buffalo Trace stuff, like I said, the that Isaac Bowman or Bowman Brothers, outstanding. Definitely go check those out. $40, $35, worth every penny. Really nice whiskey. So with that, let's get into the nose. It's a very nice light apple with a caramel drizzle on it. Very sweet caramel light that's kind of pushing into like a honey, like a dark honey to a light caramel. And lots of apple in there. Apple verging on a floral presence. I get just a hint of oak in the background. And like I said, $28.79. Um, great whiskey for that price. 90 proof is also kind of nice. Now, Buffalo Trace also rings in at 90 proof, which I'll be honest with you, is a great proof to put a bourbon at. You know, you see a lot of these floor bourbons at 80, which, you know, some whiskey lives really well at 80. And it's amazing because a lot of scotch also comes in like 83, 86, somewhere in the 80s. Um, man, a lot higher prices than bourbon most often, but it also has to cross an ocean. It has to be a minimum of 3 years old. But not really changing on the nose. The ethanol is actually kind of punching up out of the glass a little bit. But really nice, sweet, kind of in that honey caramel line. No dark, like molasses notes or brown sugar notes, really. Making my salivary glands light up in there and kind of dripping just that nice ripe apple. Very nice, light, fruity nose. Digging it. Okay, here we go. So the ethanol hits kind of like the back of the first part of the palate, maybe the beginning of the mid palate. You get hit with caramel up front. Not a very dense, rich, creamy caramel, just a nice, light, drizzly, honeyed caramel. Very nice, sweet note. It picks up with a really nice, light oak um, impact. I won't even say that it's tannic because it's missing the bitterness, but it's a definite oak impact that picks up in the middle, right behind that sweet, pushes all the way to the end, but it mixes with that ethanol, and the ethanol just kind of plays in your mouth. I would say this drinks a lot hotter than 90 proof, um, and but it's not unbearable. And also, I have not drank a lot of whiskey in the last couple of weeks here, so I'm not really acclimated. But I would never call a 90 proofer like high proof whiskey, especially when I'm drinking like some 120s right now that just go down so much easier. But as far as that flavor profile goes, it's just like sweet, and then I'm gonna say tannic, but it's not like bitter. It's like just a nice wood presence picks up in the middle, all the way to the finish. The finish is sweet and ethanol-y. I would say it doesn't even have like that classic black pepper on the back end of it. You do get that ethanol burn at the end. Um, it also has like I don't know how to describe it. It's not watery thin presence in your mouth, but it's not heavy. It's not a heavy, oily, thick, viscous coating, but it does coat your tongue well, and it never really dries out with that like wine, that dry wine on the tongue finishing note, which is also very nice. So it's very present start to finish. You get that fruit kind of picking up in the middle too. I almost got like a light cinnamon out of it on that nosing, but now it's pushed right back into that apple. Now it's a little bit denser caramel. I almost got like a sweet candy corn. Like if you open a bag of candy corn, smell it mixed with a darker caramel. And now it's pushing into more of a caramel bomb. Like, is it Sugar Daddy's that the caramel on a stick? Is that Sugar Daddy? I don't remember. Kind of an old school candy treat, but the milk caramel that was on a stick kind of pushes into that. So now that note's becoming more robust in the nose. And the fruit that apple floral kind of note is tamping down a bit, just becoming this caramel bomb all on the nose, which is, if you go back and watch my video, again, I know it's a little bit boring because I don't have any video of me actually drinking whiskey, but that quick little shout out of our tasting in Deadwood, that's exactly what we experienced. I think we drank, because they were, it's kind of pathetic now thinking about it. We paid $20 for a pour. Now, granted, it was a full ounce and a half pour. Maybe it was a 2 ounce pour. I think it was more of an ounce and a half of the Elmer Tea Lee. We paid $20 for it, and we paid either $30 or $40 for a full pour of the William LaRue Weller. Now, those BTAC bottles are going for, gosh, they're like $1,000. They shouldn't be, but that's kind of, if you find them, that's probably in the price range you're going to find them, um, especially on secondary. I'm getting almost a little peanut graham cracker in there now, way down in the glass. Second sip, here we go. Again, sweet, honey more forward than caramel this time. A little bit thinner on the second taste, and that wood did go tannic, not quite bitter, acidic, astringent, but definite wood impact was like the second note to hit, and that was the note that carried all the way through. And now the ethanol kind of going retronasal, kind of burns the throat a little bit more, hitting with a little more oomph. Again, kind of hard to believe that that's a 90 proof whiskey, but yeah, it's a very nice, pleasant balance of sweet and wood coming together. Nothing's overpowering. Powering. It's good. It's really, really nice whiskey, and at $28, it's an excellent whiskey. So if you're as fortunate as I was and can buy this for 30, maybe $40, excellent buy at that price. If you're as lucky as I was and get it for $28, you must buy it for that price. But again, there's not. It's an excellent whiskey. There's nothing extraordinary about it. There must be. I don't know. I don't think I'm lying. Um, there's probably 20 bourbons that I could put next to this that I would say you could find equal enjoyment out of without the rarity. You could go pick it up off the shelf every single day. A Wild Turkey 101 would be a perfect complementary. Like, in fact, I would say it's a better whiskey because there's more flavors available, more complexity to it, more depth to it than this Elmer T. Lee, and it's cheaper. Plus, you get the cool embossed bottles if you buy them right now, those glass embossed bottles with the turkey on it. And if those are the bottles you're buying, I think that this particular batch, or if they did a new batch or whatever they're doing with the turkey, it tends to be a little bit sweeter than what it previously had been. So I kind of lean towards that. Turns out I tend to be Old Forester and Wild Turkey tend to be my jam for some reason. But if you get the opportunity, you want a nice rare bottle, this is definitely worth finding and picking up, but I would not pay exorbitant amount of money for it. If you can find it for $60 just because it's difficult to find and it's a talking piece and whatever else, yeah, pick it up. $60 and under. It's an excellent whiskey. This just tastes like a proofier, a little bit sweeter Buffalo Trace to me. Like if you get Buffalo Trace off the shelf, this is just a little bit sweeter, a little bit proofier as far as the way that it drinks, but it's still a very nice, not overly complex bourbon. And now my air conditioner just kicked on, so with that, we'll kind of shut her down here. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, drop in the comments down below. Today is July 14th, 2023. I bought this on July 10th, 2023. And I'm going to post this video to BitChute here probably, today's Friday, probably today, and tomorrow it'll air. Or maybe I got one more video. I think I got one more video. So this will probably air Wednesday next week. If you're watching this on any other platform, it's probably 2025, 2026. I have no idea. It's a long, long time. So, but anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. Have yourselves a great day. Go ahead, drop in the comments down below what you think. If you've ever had Elmer Tea Lee, what price you pay for it, where you found it, if you can find it, and any thoughts you have about it, and whether I'm wrong or whatever it is you happen to think about it. I'm always happy to hear what you have to say. So thanks for watching, you guys. Have yourselves a great day. We will catch you in the next video.